Today, I'm thinking about imposter syndrome and how to battle it. As usual, a bibliography of text used to create this video will be available in the description. If you've ever felt like you don't belong, even when everyone else thinks you're doing great, it doesn't mean you're hiding your failure well. It probably means you have imposter syndrome. Defined as an experience of inadequacy or fraudulence within an intellectual or professional field, the fear of imposter syndrome stems from the feeling of being exposed for your perceived inadequacy. It also comes from the feeling that you are somehow scamming others. However, this is only true when evidence suggests the contrary exists. So if you actually are inadequate and you are not facing imposter syndrome, you need to assess if there's evidence to suggest you're not inadequate to know if you actually have it. So do not use it as an excuse to explain feelings of contempt. Be honest with yourself over whether the outcomes you're producing have value. Imposter syndrome is not recognised as a legitimate medical condition by many major psychiatric and medical journals, such as the DSM-5. This means that very little research or experiments have actually been carried out to understand it further, like under what conditions it tends to form, whether it is genetic, or what are the best solutions for combating it. As it is not considered a mental disorder, it is simply seen as a response to stimuli. Negative traits of imposter syndrome are neuroticism, perfectionism, and agreeableness. Although it is not a mental disorder, it is generally considered to have a knock-on effect that leads to actual mental disorders, such as depression or anxiety, or minor problems which are low self-esteem and social dysfunctions. Negative traits of imposter syndromes are neuroticism, perfectionism, and agreeableness. All of these traits would create a completely irrational person, meaning that a successful person is likely quickly facing negative outcomes, such as losing their position of success, which caused them to feel imposter syndrome in the first place. Basic suggestions for dealing with imposter syndrome are to embrace fear, as if you let it control you, then you are likely to feel like things are out of your control. Consider the evidence of your past to justify to yourself that you are valid to have the success you have, as it's unlikely that you have a position of success without a history that suits as an explanation for it. Find a confidant who can help identify false beliefs that you are feeling and what is the root cause of them. Sometimes it isn't easy to identify by yourself, especially when thinking irrationally. So somebody who can help is very useful. Have a safe space. This is important as it's easy for irrational thoughts to spill into all aspects of your life. If you know in your home that you are not an imposter and you belong there, then you can leave your irrational thoughts at the door and think rationally when inside. If you're trying to help someone overcome it, then try and help them with their issues when they feel overwhelmed. Don't harass them all the time. Slowly reduce the amount of help you are given until they realise they never needed it, and they can manage things by themselves. In the 1978 study by Clance and Imes, people suffering from imposter syndrome met in a group setting, and it was found that understanding that others suffered from the condition allowed for solace. The study found that overall, people suffering from the condition should prepare for things that could be triggers, and simply extracting self-doubt before it gets too severe helps massively. However, in 2019, a review of imposter syndrome was conducted, and it was found that there was no distinctive feature of treatments that can be used to combat imposter syndrome. Screenings show that an extremely high number of people have feelings of imposter syndrome. So it seems that understanding that your feelings are valid and normal should be enough to combat it. As a conclusion, there is no clear path to erasing imposter syndrome, as its lack of testing and research means that not enough data can be provided for a clear distinction. Although there is no cure, there are ways to combat it, as previously stated, so there are things that should be focused on. Overall, people suffering from imposter syndrome should understand that their feelings are valid, and imposter syndrome can always be combated. Management is the key to success. You just need to keep your thinking rational.